Hi everybody, welcome to Surviving the Apocalypse. Currently the whole world is experiencing COVID-19 issues, and I thought I would put a step-by-step guide to the things that I do at home to help make me a bit more independent and, for want of a better phrase, self-survival. Today I'm going to be doing Teddy's Fast Fermenting Vodka. In front of me I have all the required ingredients to do that. I'll just get my camera person to actually show you. I'm going to be using dextrose. This is wheat bran, citric acid, multivitamin tablets, diammonium phosphate, which is yeast nutrient, baker's yeast. You can use any form of baker's yeast, and I've got Epsom salts. With the dextrose you can use any sugar. Really, you can use standard white sugar, refined white sugar, and you could use raw sugar. Though mind you, with raw sugar it does have molasses in it, so be mindful of that. In my mind it will just provide some additional nutrients for your yeast. So we have 4 kilos of sugar, 250 grams of wheat bran. We're going to use 1 multivitamin tablet. We're going to use a pinch of Epsom salts. We're going to use half a teaspoon of diammonium phosphate, the yeast nutrient, a little bit of citric acid for adjusting the pH. We want to get a pH of our overall wash to about 5.5 to start with. That helps the yeast do its thing. And then we're going to use 50 grams of baker's yeast. So in the first instance, I have decided in my 10 litre pot here to put 6 litres of water. The reason why I've done that is I want to be able to mix in the dextrose after I've brought the bran to the boil. So in talking about that, the method is my 250 grams of wheat bran which I've actually bought from a stock feed place, 20 Australian dollars for a 20 kilo bag. This 250 grams is worth 25 cents. In we go. And then I'm going to bring that to the boil by putting it on the stove and bring it to the boil. What that does is that extracts and converts the nutrients in the bran so that it becomes nutrient for your yeast. After that comes to the boil, my process will be putting in my dextrose so it will dissolve in the solution. The next step is to grab my multivitamin and put it in mortar and pestle. I'm then going to add my half a teaspoon of diammonium phosphate. That's your yeast nutrient. And then I'm going to put in a pinch of Epsom salts. All these ingredients are designed to give your baker's yeast nutrients in the wash. Now I'm just going to crush that up. do that. Now all these ingredients that I'm putting together are for a 23 litre wash in a fermenter. So by the time you add all these ingredients, you fill up your fermenter to a total of 23 litres. So just recapping, 4 kilos of sugar, 250 grams of wheat bran, 1 multivitamin tablet, the pinch of Epsom salts, half a teaspoon of DAP or diammonium phosphate, a little bit of citric acid when you take a pH test of your wash before adding your baker's yeast for fermentation, and the 50 grams of baker's yeast. So I've got the wheat bran in the pot and it's slowly coming to the boil. What you'll need to do is just every now and then give it a stir, just make sure it's not catching on the bottom. That's one of the benefits and one of the reasons why I've chosen to use the 6 litres of water in here, is to help it from becoming gluggy and sticking to the bottom. And when it comes to the boil, to let it boil for approximately half an hour. As you can see here, the wheat bran has come to the boil. You can see it's all foamed up, so be mindful of that. You need to keep giving it a good stir. I've just turned down the heat on this, so to keep it boiling and to make sure the wheat bran cooks through. It's actually getting quite thick in there, like a porridge. So it's going to work out nicely. Okay, so my bran is finished doing its thing. I'm going to slowly add my dextrose, giving it a good stir so that all melts. So that's part of the dextrose. And getting the next lot of dextrose. Getting it in there. This is the reason why I've used 6 litres in a 10 litre pot to start with, is because by the time I get this dextrose in here, or the sugar or whatever you're using, it will bring it up to nearly the 10 litre mark. So that's your 4 kilos of sugar in there. Give that a good stir around. And then the next thing is to pour that mixture into your clean, sanitized fermenter. Just make sure you've got that tap closed on the fermenter so it doesn't go everywhere. Okay, next step is to fill up your fermenter to 23 litres of water. While I'm filling the fermenter up with water, it's doing a couple of things. By pouring the water in, you're oxygenating your wort, which means that there's plenty of oxygen in the water for your yeast to consume, make a healthy environment. What I'm doing now is, while I'm filling up and before I get to my 23 litres, I'm putting in that multivitamin and the DAP into the mix, so that when I pour my next lot of water in, it's going to nicely stir that up into the solution. And I'm about 2 litres off 23 litres. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a stir and take the temperature, because I won't be able to add my yeast until the solution is below 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a stir. We've got 23 litres of liquid in the fermenter. I'm going to give it a good stir, and then with a digital thermometer probe, I'm going to check the temperature of my liquid. Currently my liquid is hitting 36-37 degrees, and so I've got to let that cool down. The thing is, I've got yeast in there, I've got sugars in there, and the air carries natural yeast. So how do I stop it from fermenting straight away or picking up that natural yeast that I don't necessarily want? What I'm going to do is cover the top of my fermenter with Glad wrap. And this will actually be the way that I carry out the fermentation process after I add the baker's yeast. Quite simply, that's going to stop any more yeast, natural yeast, getting in there, which will allow time for my solution to cool down and prepare to put in the baker's yeast for fermenting. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 27.4 degrees and a pH is 6.13. I want to drop that pH down to about 5.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 grams of citric acid. I'm going to give it a good stir. I'm going to measure my pH again. The reason why I haven't put too much citric acid in there is quite simply I don't want to make it too acidic. Because as the yeast functions, it will reduce the pH. We just got a pH of 5.6. Just double check that temperature again. Okay, that's saying 31.5. I'm just going to check with another one. Always good to double check. Still needs to cool down a bit more. We've got to our, look, get rid of that. We've got to our temperature, we're under 30 degrees. And we've got 50 grams of baker's yeast straight in there on the top like that. We don't stir it in or anything else like that, because I've now going to replace the lid with my Glad wrap. Plenty of headroom in there. I've been told that Teddy's fast fermenting vodka recipe is quite active. Needs lots of headroom. Just use the rubber seal from the screw-on lid, and there we go. Have a look at this. This dome is the CO2, and if you can have a look inside, look at all that yeast activity happening. This is Teddy's Fast Ferment, and I'll post the recipe and detailed instructions with this video. Thanks for watching.